What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about posture and alignment. So anytime people get into studying posture and alignment, they immediately go to corrective exercises, right? What kind of fancy corrective exercise can I do to fix my client's posture, to fix their alignment, right? Now, we should probably have the discussion of, is it important at all? It's hard in the science to draw a direct correlation between posture and pain or posture and performance. So because poor posture has never been a great predictor of injury in life or in sports, they say, well, then it doesn't matter. But the truth is, it does matter. It's just one factor amongst hundreds of other factors, and it's not powerful enough by itself to outweigh all these other factors like load management, like genetics, like nutrition, recoverability, all of these things. So if you've already determined I need to make improvements in my posture, in my alignment, instead of jumping straight to corrective exercises, there's two questions that I like to ask. Question number one, am I active enough? Gravity is trying to smash you into the ground every single day. It is pulling you downward. You have these anti-gravity muscles, so you have these postural muscles that fight that pull. Now, if we're inactive and we're sedentary, our postural muscles become weak, and eventually gravity wins that battle. So as society becomes more and more sedentary, you're gonna see more and more posture and alignment issues. And even athletes sometimes are sedentary too. Yeah, they go out for a sport practice, but then the other 23 hours of the day, they're just sitting there playing video games, and they're actually not driving enough force through their postural muscles to counteract the gravitational pull. Because of how we shifted our society to sitting in chairs for 8 hours a day at school or at work, there's a lot of people that are just not active enough. And that's why their posture is breaking down. Now we have to go higher intensity, because I could say, well, hey, like my ancestors did it through walking, but they did it over an 8-hour period. I only got 1 hour. So that 1 hour of walking is probably not gonna be enough stimulus for me to actually strengthen those postural muscles. So I'm probably at some point gonna lose that battle against gravity. This is where resistance training comes into play. I can drive balanced forces through the body through a really good full body strengthening program, and I can drive the amount of force that they drove through their body in 8 hours. I could drive that amount of force in 1 hour. It's just in a very concentrated period of time. So intensity has to be higher because the duration, I should say, is lower. That's why, somebody on a really, really good balanced strength training program where they're progressively overloading and getting stronger over time, I think it's pretty rare to see major postural and alignment issues. Now, that's a perfect segue into the ultimate question number two. If we determine that you are active enough, you're not breaking down just because you're losing your battle with gravity. You're active enough, but are you doing too much of one thing? All right, so every single thing that we do is asymmetrical. Everything we do is imbalanced. So even at the highest levels, let's look at something like sprinting. If you watch legit sprint, if you watch even Usain Bolt, right? He's gonna have one leg that externally rotates more than the other. So one leg is gonna strike a little more, that foot's gonna strike straight, the other leg's gonna strike out. These pro dunkers who are like all right, left, it's all, your right leg spends almost twice the amount of time on the ground than your left leg. So the time under tension on that right is so much higher. That's why we see in pro dunkers that right quad is jacked and then that left quad is much smaller. So anything that you do is asymmetrical, and that's actually okay as long as there's variability in your training program. But it's when you do too much of one thing. And I've been here in my career, I'll obsess over one thing at a time. When I was doing that 66-inch hurdle jump, I think I did a month or maybe 2 months of just right-left jumping. I didn't do anything else. I maybe did like a squat, and that was it. But I was so focused on my right-left jumping, just jumping over that hurdle, that I kept going up and I kept getting the results I wanted. But eventually I'm looking in the mirror and I'm noticing that my torso is rotated to one side. And then I'm noticing that my pelvis is a little more forward on one side than the other. And then I'm noticing that my right arch grew. Like I have a huge right arch all of a sudden, and that left arch lowered, which means I'm lateralizing. I'm pushing my center of mass over towards my right side. The crazy thing is that's the correct adaptation to that task. Problem is when you do other tasks, you then get hurt. So I would just like lay in bed and my back would hurt. I would decide, okay, I'm gonna go for a run, or I would go pop out and play basketball. Now my body hurts because my body has imbalances for these tasks that I'm trying to do. For these problems that I just identified, which happens to me because I'm obsessive, but it also happens to a lot of athletes. They'll just decide, I'm all about jumping now, and that's all they do. That's why like our programs, we have a program called Vert Code. It should be a vertical jump program, but I don't care what your goal is. I want you doing lateral bounding. I want you moving backwards. I want you sprinting. I want you moving in all directions. I want you lifting at different depths. So it all goes back to how balanced is our program. So even if you're a pro dunker and all you want to do is run and jump off right, left, you still need to balance. You still need some left, right. I'm not saying a lot. I'm saying you still need some left, right. You still need to run. You still need to walk, right? So I'm not saying don't focus on one goal. If you're a jumper, you got to do a lot of jumping. If you're a sprinter, you got to do a lot of sprinting. But how do you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I need some variability? Maybe that's in your warm-up, right? I think that goes a long way for avoiding the overuse injuries and the overuse compensations that come from doing one thing too much. Probably 90% of you though are falling under this category, which is why I asked these questions first. A, are you doing enough? Are you driving enough force through your body on a daily basis to counteract the force from gravity, or is gravity slowly and gradually smushing you into the floor? Your answer is get on a balanced resistance training program, move more throughout the day, go for more walks, stand up out of your chair and do some movement snacks. Durability Code is an awesome program for posture and alignment that has a lot of like corrective type stuff, but it also has a lot of just meat and potato strength training that you need. And then the other question is, okay, I'm active, I'm strong, I'm good to go, but am I doing too much of one thing? In the gym, on the track, on the basketball court, too much of one thing is always going to catch up to you at some point. So we need more variable movements, even if that's just sneaking it in your warm-ups. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today's video. Again, check out Durability Code. That program is insane for injury reduction, for getting people stronger, for improving alignment, improving posture, whether you're getting back into exercise, you've been away for a long time, you want to stay healthy for your men's league, or you're a pro athlete and you just got done with your rehab and you want to bridge that gap between your rehab and the court. Durability Code Restore comes first. That restores all of our good quality movement, builds a really good foundation, and then Durability Code Prime is like where we really start to safely ramp up our athleticism. Of course, if you're a hooper who's healthy and ready to work, just check out Unranked Basketball Academy. That is our most comprehensive program for basketball players. Until next time, I'm out.